Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
This week was a bit of a hectic week. We had Worlds Collide, Royal Rumble, Raw, Dusty Rhodes Classic Finals, and we're gonna try and get through as much of it as possible. But we are gonna start off with what I ended that sentence with, and that is the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Now, the winners, as of about an hour ago, I love NXT ending just before we air this, or just before we record this. The winners for 2020, it was the Broserweights.
I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, you were like, before the show, you were like, oh no, I don't know, surprise me. And I'm like, how do I surprise you with the Broserweights? It was the obvious ending.
Yeah, not a surprise. I think it became obvious once Kushida went down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking at the teams, there was a few who I think could have potentially made it to the end. Obviously, Kushida and Alex Shelley, I could see making it there, depending on how they wanted to swing it. You know, whether there was a title shot on the line, etc. Imperium and Undisputed Era could potentially make it, but with that final, I saw no way the Broserweights weren't gonna win.
I never saw the two tag team champions in it ever winning. Ever. Because they were going to be... The overarching storyline with the Worlds Collide was going to prevent either one of them from obtaining the this particular honor.
Yeah.
Once you take those two out, there was really nobody left that could win on a heel side. And then you had the Broserweights who were the favorites, beyond favorites. And then you had the mystery of Kushida and his mystery partner, which was the only other option, pretty much. And then once they fell in the first round, everything just says like, well, that's it. The Broserweights are going to win unless they really decide to screw with us.
Well, you mentioned it there. I'm going to take that as an opportunity to jump over to Worlds Collide. I said we'd talk about it real quick. There's just two matches I wanted to mention. The first is the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Sadly, Travis Banks did not win, but NXT UK's Jordan Devlin did pick up the win, so that belt will be residing over in NXT UK for the time being. Maybe Banks gets another shot.
Maybe. Got a brand new title.
Nice black strap, or dark purple, depending on the lighting and whether you want to argue the colouring of the strap for 3 hours. Yeah, the title looks sick. Quite happy with it. I'm mostly happy with the fact that it's over on NXT UK for the time being. Hoping that means some old Banksy's going to pick up some wins. And just the main event, just to touch on it, the 8-man tag team match between Imperium and the Undisputed Era. Imperium did walk away the winners of that match.
Oh. Yeah, as I kind of expected going into it. Especially if they are going to be doing that pay-per-view along the way in July. That's when NXT will get its revenge on NXT UK, because it's literally in the name of the show. It would be Revolutionary War. But it was an interesting match, and I definitely feel like we're not done here.
No. Well, the one thing we know we're definitely not done with is the Royal Rumble, because we haven't even started talking about it, and I'm going to cut on over to it now. First match on the pre-show, Sheamus defeating Shorty G, as it should be.
Yeah. There wasn't really many people that could have faced Sheamus for his first match back after being gone for so long with such a serious injury. Let's put that out there. It was a serious injury that he had, and there was a very serious question of whether his career was over or not.
I was shocked to see his vignettes.
Yeah, there wasn't many people that could have put on a better match and been more safer with Sheamus than Shorty G, and they had a natural story with the big guy versus the little guy. So, but yeah, it ended the way it had to end.
And then the other match on the pre-show, we had the United States Championship on the line. Andrade retaining against Humberto Carrillo. and then some downward
In
spiral.
hindsight, it surprises me, but at the time, it was exactly what needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That said, what has happened since then kind of overshadows this match.
Yeah. I know, Humberto Carrillo just attacking the defenseless Andrade and just beating him down so badly that we're not going to see him for the next 29 days.
Yeah, but he will still be the United States champion. So, it's a situation like, when Reigns failed his drug test.
Mm-hmm.
He was champion. He got to keep the title until it was time for him to lose it. And that's pretty much going to be what the case will be here for Andrade.
Yeah,
when he comes back in after the suspension. Yeah, in case you didn't pick up on it, he was suspended for failing a wellness violation.
What?
He will lose the United States title, probably to Humberto.
Yeah, they were definitely building to something bigger with these two. So I'm kind of glad they didn't just shift the title off him in a hurry, and at least let the story build to its natural conclusion down the line. Whether that be, I can't do math quick enough. I don't think it can be before Super Showdown. It might be able to be before Elimination Chamber. It'll definitely be before WrestleMania. I can't do math. But what's the time? Should we hit the? Yeah, we'll hit the main card of Royal Rumble as well. We opened up with a Falls Count Anywhere match between Roman Reigns and King Corbin.
I had so much fun watching this match. These two went to absolute war, and so did their buddies. For each individual faction.
Does fighting on top of the dugout count as going to the concession stand? Is it that level?
But considering that they were in a ballpark, and getting to a concession stand would be very difficult, because I've been in one. The fact that they ended it on the dugout was absolutely cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
That was one of those cases where I'm fine with them not going to the concession stand, because they did so much other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended it with a very unique area, because you don't see a fight on a dugout.
I want to see the next time a baseball game, like, someone gets mad, they just go onto the top of the dugout and they're like, come at me, bro. And just start a fight on top of the dugout. Start a trend. We'll skip over the Rumbles. We'll talk about both of the Rumbles on the other side of the song. So we'll get through the other matches on the card, which includes the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Bayley and Lacey Evans. What do you have to say about this one?
I was quite disappointed. I wanted Lacey to win so much that thought she deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. But I kind of figured out once we found out that the women in both title matches weren't going to be involved in the Royal Rumble because it happened before both matches.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of lost hope in Lacey winning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because now we'll combine the two. So the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch defeated Asuka to retain her title as well.
And that was the surprise of no one.
Yeah, bit of an opposite there.
Yeah. It was what it was. It was a decent match. Had no problem with it. And yeah, it did what it had to do. It got Becky her win back from last year. And now Becky can go to WrestleMania as champion, and then we'll see where we go from here.
Yeah. Everything becomes clear once we talk about the Rumbles and combining all of that together, but I quite enjoyed this match. It was probably one of my favorite on the card. I don't know why, it just seemed like the two knew exactly how to bring the best out of each other, and they were just nailing it, and I quite enjoyed it. Definitely in contrast to the Bayley and Lacey match, which could have been because it was directly after the Rumble, but I feel like it fell a bit flat. So, don't know for the future of either of these women just yet, really, what lays ahead of them.
I propose for Lacey Evans, the team with Dana Brooke, and challenge Asuka and Kairi Sane for the tag titles at WrestleMania.
There you go. Easy peasy.
And then we could still get Kairi Sane on the pirate ship at WrestleMania.
That's all that matters. Kyrie on the ship. Our last non-Rumble match on the Rumble card. The Fiend defeated Daniel Bryan in their strap match.
I would say it was a great match. 1, 2, I think the Fiend is starting to show some cracks.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were definitely moments when you thought Daniel Bryan could win the match, even though you knew he was not going to.
Yeah.
So,
if you compare it to like his Seth Rollins one, he's definitely, I wouldn't want to say weaker, but he's definitely more human.
Wouldn't that make him weaker, though? Because the way they portrayed him during the Seth Rollins feud was he was an unstoppable machine.
Yeah.
And he couldn't be kept down for even a 2. And Daniel Bryan came within a half a second, like 3 different times of winning that match.
It'll be interesting to see how it's eventually played off, in terms of when the Fiend eventually does lose, because he will. He's not going to be undefeated for the rest of his career. What exactly is the sort of reason? Because you're always going to look back at that Seth Rollins stuff and be like, this guy was pretty unstoppable, and now you got him losing. So there's gonna be something there. All right, well, let's go into our entrance theme of the week. Josh hasn't informed me what it is, or I haven't read the Facebook message that tells me what it is. So I'm just gonna intro a song, and then it'll magically play, and I'll insert it in post. So here's your theme for you now. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh, and I just got informed that I played Drew McIntyre's theme, so I'm quite happy now. I'm going to be listening to that after the show. Thanks for getting that stuck in my head. But we've got 2 Rumble matches to talk about. 60 competitors, women's, then men's. Let's start it off. Whew, I love this. Once a year I get to read out a list of 30 names in quick succession. With Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, Mighty Holly, Nikki Cross, Lana, Mercedes Martinez, Liv Morgan, Mandy Rose, Candice LeRae, Sonya Deville, Kairi Sane, Mia Yim, Dana Brooke, Tamina, Dakota Kai, Chelsea Green, Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Beth Phoenix, Toni Storm, Kelly Kelly, Sarah Logan, Natalia, Xia Li, Zelina Vega, Shotzi Blackheart, Carmella, Tegan Nox, Santino Marella, and Shayna Baszler. And then will I recover?
This was a good Rumble match. Maybe not the best one that the women have had, but definitely a good one. I will say this. NXT accounted for 16 of the 29 eliminations between 2 people.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So that was definitely Bianca Belair, major MVP of the entire event.
100%.
With 33 minutes, got 8 eliminations. And absolutely stole the show the entire time she was in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm talking highlights and I'm looking at this, I'm going, highlight number 1 is Bianca Belair.
And then at the end, the final 5 minutes, basically, Shayna Baszler, who we thought was going to win, comes in and just absolutely cleans house. It takes the other 8 from the NXT barrage. Which technically was actually had 2 more eliminations if you wanted to count Chelsea Green and Beth Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really a showing for NXT. Obviously, the winner eventually not coming from NXT, but it was still NXT's Rumble. They had such a heavy presence. For then, when you look over at the men's, they had 2 guys from NXT show up in that one versus the. How fast can I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 competitors in the women's Rumble that showed up from NXT.
Yeah, but you had to have that many.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you weren't going to have a 30-person match.
That's true.
Whereas with the men's, that's more forgivable because you have more than 30 men on the roster.
Yep. Is it time to bring back the 40-man Rumble?
I thought this was probably the year, especially if you're going to do some surprises and have NXT, because they announced basically 25 once we found out they took 2 people out.
Mm-hmm.
So they had 5 slots available. If they had been a 40-man Rumble, that would have been 15, and they could have had a few more surprises. which would have satisfied that particular part of the audience that wanted these surprises.
I honestly think it's time to switch to the 40-man. You've got such a depth of roster. I think they could pull it off nowadays. Like, if you look at the 30 that did show up into the men's, it was 30 solid dudes. Yeah, we talked about, obviously having so much NXT there as well. The throwback. So I don't know how much our listeners watch of NXT, but Shayna Baszler and Shotzi Blackheart were both involved in a battle royal on NXT a couple weeks ago, I think it was. And Shotzi ended up eliminating Shayna Baszler, and it was like a huge surprise and everything. So having that throwback, because Shotzi Blackheart's arguably a no-one to most people who watch the show. And it was there purely for that throwback of Shayna Baszler getting her revenge on her. And so that was a moment for me that I quite enjoyed. Just a little bit of a wink.
Yeah, and I'd say we've been dancing around who actually won the event. And I think we should probably talk about it by now.
Do we have to, though?
Yeah, because I think there's actually a potential interesting storyline that could come out of this.
Okay. Last two things before we talk about the winner then. First off, Beth Phoenix kicked ass. May have only eliminated one person, had an amazing rumble. Second part, Dakota Kai, that's all.
Yeah, she showed up. And so did Toni Storm. But they did not get to interact with each other because Dakota Kai got eliminated pretty much right away.
Yeah, but still longest lasting Kiwi in a Royal Rumble ever. Not saying much. Charlotte Flair, she won it. Yeah. Spin your story.
How about this? She doesn't go after either the Raw or SmackDown women's championships.
I posted this in the Facebook chat.
Yes. She goes after NXT Champion. Yeah, we're kind of getting rid of the term women's in the NXT rank.
Oh, no, they added it back this week.
Just throwing that out there.
They added it back this week?
Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. That would be huge. That would be a huge match.
It's the only option I'm happy for, because I don't really want Charlotte versus Bayley, and I don't really want Charlotte versus Becky. To be fair, I wasn't entirely at the time very happy about this winner. Then I heard about the possibility of Charlotte versus Rhea, and then I really liked the winner. Because you can set up Shayna Becky. You can set up Bayley Sasha. Without this Rumble win, it would have been quite hard to set up Charlotte versus NXT Champion.
Yeah. But yeah, having the stipulation that you could challenge any women's champion would definitely make this more of a possibility. Mm-hmm. And who's gonna argue with it, really? Flair is the best wrestler in the division, period. I know people don't really like that, but that's the truth of the matter. And yeah, she's won the title 10 times. But the particular thing is, she can put Rhea Ripley over in a way that nobody else can if they do that match.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is our theory crafting for the women's. We're going to have to jump over to the men's or we're going to run out of time. Let's run down those 30 men. That is Brock Lesnar, Elias, Eric Rowan, Robert Roode, John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, Big E, Cesaro, Shelton Benjamin, Shinsuke Nakamura, MVP, Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Carl Anderson, Edge, King Corbin, Matt Riddle, Luke Gallows, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, Samoa Joe, and Seth Rollins.
Alright, so let's see here. It was the tale of two Rumbles. Because the first half was, let's see here, eliminations. Brock Lesnar, 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 and Brock Lesnar. 13 eliminations in the first 13 people. All by the same person.
Yeah.
That was... But you know what? I give the man credit. He brought it. I know people hate him as a part-time champion and stuff. When he's interested, there's not many that's better. And I think one of the biggest moments was when the whole thing that he did with Shelton Benjamin. Mm-hmm. That was amazing.
There was some massive highlights, and that was definitely one of them. Just being like, "Hey, buddy."
Keith Lee came out.
Yeah.
Keith Lee came out, and it was like, who the heck is that?
Thank you for censoring what Brock said.
Yeah. And just to see them in the ring together was quite amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, in the end, the North American champion had the fall to Brock, but hey, he got a moment.
Yeah, this part of the Rumble, obviously, people are just going to see it as where Brock dominated, right? But you had the Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, Big E team up, which was a cool little spot. Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston both wanted revenge. Big E was there to maybe make it nice at 3-on-1. Still eliminates them, Then you get later on in the game, you get Keith Lee, and it's like, oh my god, these two are going head to head. Who's your next entrant out? It's Braun Strowman. There's so much beef in the ring. And then Brock Lesnar still eliminates both of them. It was just setting up, bigger and bigger obstacles in front of Brock until he decided to get low blowed with a bit of karma.
Yeah, my boy helped your boy score the biggest elimination of the entire night.
I'll take it. It was a team up.
Yes. Yeah, and then the real Rumble began.
Mm-hmm.
As the match actually started filling up. Because up until that point, the most people that had been in the ring at one time was the 3-on-1 team up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because Brock was eliminating people within 10-15 seconds of them getting in the ring.
Yeah, it's hard to fill up when that's what's happening.
But yeah, then number 21.
The I don't think arguably, most talked about story coming out of the Royal Rumble. I just needed to scroll through to go find it. It's currently 7.6 million views on YouTube in 3 days.
Edge is back.
Back.
Yeah. At least for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
But he's definitely wanting to do it on his own terms and going out this time. And he went 23 minutes in the Rumble match.
Mm-hmm.
Eliminated 3 people.
One of which was Randy Orton.
Yeah. And 2 members of the OC.
Yeah. It was, to me, though, that Edge Orton sort of chemistry that was there, and then he eliminates him, and that's our match heading forward, especially after what happened on Raw.
Yeah. I wonder if they threw an audible in it, though, at least in the going forward story, because I could have seen them maybe dragging it out a couple weeks, if it wasn't for AJ Styles getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't really know the extent of the injury. We just know he injured his shoulder.
Yeah. It's a bit worrying.
Yeah. Because I almost think that it was probably built for AJ versus Edge at WrestleMania.
Hmm.
And that could still very well happen that way. AJ gets some time off the heel, and Randy Orton and Edge take off at that event that won't be named in February.
Yep. There's definitely options, yeah. Just which one are they going to go with is really going to be the question there. But for the meantime, it'll be Edge versus Orton. And then the final moments of the Rumble was sort of dominated by this. Seth Rollins, with his posse behind him, still being unable to take out all of the competitors required, but thinning the field quite a bit.
Yes, Seth got 3 eliminations, if you include the one that he got help on.
Yes, of course.
But then his help got taken away because out came the Viking Raiders and eliminated that particular help. And then Seth fell to your boy because we had to start getting ready for the Final Four.
The Final Four? Why? It's Final One's all that matters, mate.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Get there faster.
All right. The Final Four, I think, was Edge, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and Drew.
Drew, I believe, yep.
A very unlikely Final Four. One of those 4 had not won the Rumble yet. One had won it twice. The other 2 had won it once. And the one that did not have a Rumble win victory before won by eliminating Roman Reigns last, which is Roman Reigns' 4th second place finish.
But all that matters is that it's Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Yeah, Drew won the Rumble and then immediately decided to poke the bear that he eliminated earlier in the night and is going to challenge Brock Lesnar.
And he's going to win. He's going to win.
Yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see it.
New champ. That's enough of me whispering in the microphone. That probably sounds really weird to the listeners. But yes, Drew McIntyre, my boy, wins. Spoilers, we kind of played his entrance theme. That did kind of give that away. But I can't be happier. It got me a lot of pick'em points. So yeah, that's what we're going to have going forward. And Grady's going to be very happy, even if it required your boy helping him out.
Well, it's just another stepping stone to the story of Drew. The chosen one has finally been chosen.
It's taken him, 11, 12? Many long years to get here. But now he's got it. Alright, well, that's all we've got time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye, B.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRradio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRradio, and we'll see you next week.